Oh dear, just when I thought third wave feminism was about to meet its demise in this mire of memes and nonsense on Tumblr, who else but Amy Schumer has to come out to ejac just a little bit more jism onto this pile of terrible that we found ourselves in. If y'all are unaware, Miss Schumer recently did an interview with the BBC where she was promoting her book, Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo, and they were really delving into some hard-hitting issues like what's she gonna do if Trump is elected? And why is Hillary being so unfairly treated by the media? Well, I think that's because, well, no, we don't have to get into that right now. Anyway, the topic of feminism was brought up and the internet just went apeshit over this answer from Miss Schumer. Or maybe it was actually a question. I don't know, the inflection's weird. Have a listen.
I think anyone who's not a feminist is an insane person.
An insane person. Meaning you are literally insane if you do not identify as a feminist. The internet totally took this and ran with it. They were so mean to her over this. All the news and tweets were like, oh my god, fuck you, Amy, why would you even say something like this? I mean, it was a pretty dumb statement. Because of course people who aren't feminists aren't insane. They're not insane people. The extremist language obviously pissed everybody off, including myself. But you know me, maybe you don't, but if you know me, I am all about giving people a fair shot. So we're gonna let Amy explain herself why she thinks people are insane. But a fair warning for the rest of this video, I will be going balls deep inside Amy Schumer. Amy's brand of feminism is something I would describe in this third wave as fountain no feminism. They are the kinds of people who cannot go one conversation without reminding you that they are a woman and they got lady parts. And feminism is just equality between the sexes. I connect well with other ladies because they're my friends and I like them. Like, of course. That's what we as women do. We like our friends and we like to boost them up, and we also like to boost ourselves up because we are strong women and that's what we kind of do. We get it, guys. Calm the fuck down. But from what I've noticed, these quote-unquote fountain no feminists, they aren't really quite the outspoken creatures they portray themselves to be when it comes to calling out shitty behavior within their own camps. And this is a perfect segue into talking about an article that was released last week called Why I'll Never Date a Feminist by writer Dave Hahn. Now, while I think his article may have been a little bit lacking in some areas, I think he made some good points against third wave feminism. But let's take a look at some of the ridiculous comments that he received. Holy shit! Wow! How fucking rude is that? Either people aren't reading this article all the way through, or they took one look at his photo and decided that he's a bitter fucking asshole woman-hating shithead. I thought you guys hated body shaming though. I thought this wasn't about what somebody looked like. I thought it was about the merit of their voice. I mean, even if you do disagree with somebody, you can let them know why without being a massive dickhead about it. Jesus. This is what I don't get about these fountain no feminists. Where are you to denounce these actions of both men and women who are calling out this guy because he said a thing they don't like? Isn't this an example of those double standards you guys like to tout? Like, what if I had written an article about why I'll never date an MRA, a men's right activist, or an MG Tao, men going their own way? Like, if I had done that, would you have praised it, or would you have been like, girl, nah? What if I posted this photo of myself along with the article? Still heaps of dick sucking? Now this video is not about Dave's article per se, but I'm going to do something that these commenters did not do for him and actually listen in full to what Amy has to say and why I am quote unquote an insane person because I don't subscribe to her idea of feminism. Let's listen, shall we?
I think they don't know what feminism means. I mean, you know, it just means equality. You know, like for women. But I think that word has a whole different meaning for different people.
What? Really? People can have different interpretations of things? No way! Thank you for that! And that's fine, Amy. It's totally cool. But I do find it a little bit odd that you had to ask the interviewer about what she knows about the definition of feminism. It's almost as if these third waivers just have to make sure that other people know what they mean. I just think equality is a good thing, okay? I swear, that's all. Feminism isn't a dirty word, okay? Unfortunately, calling people insane doesn't really translate into you thinking that the sexes should be equal. This doesn't really work, does it? It means you set the standard for a word so high that people who do not identify with that label are mentally incompetent, meaning I can't even write my own name. Girl, what? That's crazy. But we're not done, so let's keep listening.
So someone will say to me, like, you're not a feminist, are you? And I'm like, what does that mean to you? Like, of course I am. Of course I want equal rights for women.
And what does that mean? What do they say then?
They seem like they didn't know that.
So let's entertain this thought for a second, because Amy kind of put a little stank on the word feminist when she was talking about people who ask her these kinds of questions. Like in this moment, even she was acting like feminist is a dirty word. But why would that be? Because I think what people are doing now is they are looking at people who in the past 2 years have defined themselves as feminists, and where we've seen a lot of this extremist thinking. So now, even now in 2016, they are still tethering that extreme mindset to anybody who uses that label. So an example of some of the extremes would be this: finding office air conditioning sexist, literally hating men all over Tumblr, and pretty much any question asked in this BuzzFeed video.
Why is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped?
Why do you assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
Why do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising? We can say the same thing about your dick size.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
Do you have a coochie?
Okay, but we're almost done with Amy, so take us home, lady.
But whatever the definition is that they were thinking, I don't know that I'm not that thing. I don't, it's like, yeah, but I feel very comfortable speaking as a comedian and a feminist because, those are two things that I completely am. So, yeah, those are two words that definitely define me, so.
I'm gonna be just a little bit of an asshole here and say, Amy, you don't really sound that confident in your answer. The idea that a word, which takes on so many different avenues of interpretation, the idea that you are defined, that you would define yourself as that word, kind of says to me that you haven't really defined yourself for yourself yet. If you let words define you, and you try to gauge what another person is thinking with any interaction that you have with them, you're just gonna drive your own damn self crazy. I think Amy in this interview was very honest and told the truth about how she really feels, and was also kind of questioning what was coming out of her mouth at the same time, which I think is a very good thing. I am a big advocate in questioning everything that doesn't make sense to you, and making sure that if you do have questions, you can ask people that hopefully will give you more knowledge for your knowledge bank. But that also extends into questioning your own beliefs about things. Because if you're receiving a whole lot of pushback about something, maybe it's from friends or from family or like big sweeping internet fucking things, it's okay to take that step back, to take that pause and just be like, what the fuck am I actually thinking? You're just simply checking in with yourself. And when it comes to the issues from third wave feminism and all these fountain no feminists, it does no good to write off legitimate criticism just because I don't like this thing for a second. Like people were mad at Dave Hahn's article because he said the wage gap and rape culture weren't real. Actually, he didn't really say that. He just said he disagreed with some of the statistics. That was basically it. Don't forget, hearing why people disagree with certain things is a good thing. And to all those folks who've needlessly insulted Schumer in 140 characters or less, this shit is not helpful. People kind of look like throbbing infected assholes when they do this, so just be aware of how it comes off. To Amy, I will say this. I think she is a very entertaining individual. She keeps my attention, but I think she's slightly confused about some things, I would say. I do see a lot of myself in her, interestingly enough, because I think we are both obviously, very outspoken women. But the fact is, she's in the public eye way more than I could ever imagine to be. So the fact is, these contradictions between her comedic persona and her regular persona, I think they do highlight her insecurities just a tad more. And I'm not saying I don't have insecurities, I got a fuck ton of those. We all do. But of course, that is another discussion for another time. I do want to read out her book for you guys. I think that would be really fun. I would make comments in between, but I'm not going to be an asshole to her because, you know, it's why I haven't made Trisha's readings public. I was such a fucking asshole to her, like, for no reason. I like her. I don't like Greg. I mean, he deserves all my scorn, but, like, you know, like, I just felt like kind of an ass. That's why they're not public. So I'd love to do more videos on third wave feminism as I see it, and, you know, Fridays are going to be where the main channel video goes, and we're going to keep doing some game videos, we're going to keep doing live streams, we're keeping doing like fucking readings of everything. I mean, we got a lot going on this channel, so I'm so appreciative you guys are sticking around with me and just going through this whole whirlwind of stuff. Tell all your friends about Giants' channel. It's a crazy place to be. So, once again, thank you again for watching, and take care, bitches. Sadie, stop it! Sadie! Psycho cat! Oh, don't come over here. You're such a newsroom.